What's good, fellow outcasts and other rejects? Welcome to WTC, the Anime Outcast. First off, if you're new here, we upload anime what-ifs based around My Hero and other shows alike. Secondly, did you know 80% of audience is not subscribed? So in order for us to continue to make good content, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. The chorus of terrified wails and grinding gears simmered into an eerie silence as quickly as they had risen through the air. The idle chatter of those who remained on the battlefield replaced the anxiety brought on by the Sentinel's introduction. At the center of the confusion was Izuku, stunned and confused, still levitating the pile of rubble at the base of the steel Sentinel's feet. Who was that? And the girl? Where is she? Question after question flew through the electric teen's mind like a raging vortex before the gears in his brain finally clicked into place. The realization dawned on him. Hakakure? Izuku turned around to find a familiar sight. A young girl with sun-blonde hair and a face that shined just as brightly. Her arms outstretched to the heavens.
Sorry about that, Midoriya. But she might have been Pancake if there was an actual rescue. Thanks for the help, though. So, you've been keeping up with your training, huh? Haven't seen you since graduation.
The blonde teleporter teased as she turned over the brunette, handing her over to the school nurse. Yeah. My mom got really clingy once I got home. Felt like she wouldn't let me go anywhere besides school or out to train for the whole year.
Yeah, that sounds like your mom alright. Anyway, I'll see you in class. I know you're too stubborn not to put up a winning performance.
The bubbly teen teased as she ran out in test field, giving Izuku a wink and a smile as she did so. With the exam behind him, Izuku spent weeks leading up to the acceptance into UA training his endurance into his absolute limits. If a couple of robots were all it took to wear him out, he'd have no chance in the hero course. After having spent what felt like hours navigating the UA High School's labyrinth of hallways, our electric protagonist finally reached his destination, Classroom 1A. Alright, here we go. The teen thought to himself as he opened the door to his future overflowing with excitement, his worries cast aside for the first time in weeks. And then they were immediately cast back upon him the moment he got a look inside his new classroom. The first and most prominent of these worries were Bakugo, who was slouched in a desk, locked in an argument with one of their bespectacled peers before his attention was drawn into the door. Huh, guess my mom wasn't lying. Nice to see you made it, nerd. It'll be nice to wipe the floor with an extra I know, he remarked briefly, pausing his argument with his self-righteous peer to give his old friend some grief. Oh, I could never read the room with him, but at least he wasn't after my throat today. Along with the ashen blonde was another familiar face in the crowd full of strangers. Eijiro Kirishima, an Esper like Midoriya, and one of the program's most promising graduates. Hey, cut him some slack, Bakugo. He's not exactly someone you want to mess around with. Midoriya, hey man, glad to see you. It's been a while. I know who this damn extra is. Hell, I knew him before he was good enough to be here. How do you know him? You part of the circus experiment too? That's enough chit-chat. If you're here to socialize, then grab your bags and get out of my class. But if you're here to test your potential as a hero, then grab some gym clothes from the cabinet and follow me. The Insomniac instructor cut off the room's chatter as he took charge of his class.
Don't we still have orientation?
A brunette from the back of the class piped up, questioning her teacher's rushed introduction. Real heroes don't have time for waste of time like that, and as long as you're in my class, neither will you. Now come on, we've wasted enough time already. Alright, as I explained inside, I've brought you out here so I can assess the potential of each and every one of you. While it's true that you all passed the school's entrance exam, I don't find beating up a bunch of machines to be a logical way of figuring out the person's combat and rescue capabilities. So with that said, you'll be put through a range of physical tests, and the students with the lowest score will be expelled.
Ah, seriously? That's not fair. Some of us have been training our whole lives to get to this point, and you just throw us out like that?
The chorus of wails and objections erupted from nearly every student, causing their teacher to let out an annoyed sigh as he got ready to silence yet another group of bratty teens.
Would you all just quiet down and start acting like people who wanna be heroes for a second? We all know this school's teachers have some crazy ways of teaching. It's a big part of what makes this school the #1 in the country. So there's nothing we can do about these conditions except get out here and show this guy just how manly we really are.
Eiichiro Kirishima, right? Well, since you seem to be so confident, and since you took first place in the entrance exam, why don't you start us off with the ball throw?
Sure thing. Let's start this party with a bang.
The Scarlet-Head teen took his place in the throwing circle, setting his stance akin to that of the American baseball pitcher as the air around him began to stir. It was gentle at first, like a calm breeze on a hot summer day, but just as quickly as the wind at his feet had formed, it erupted into a turret around him, creating visible distortions in the air. This caused all his classmates to fumble a bit at the sudden burst, while Aizawa stood as if nothing happened.
Alright, 1A, we came here to be heroes, so let's show this guy just how far we're willing to go!
The redhead shouted as he released his pitch, a jarring amount of force following it as the ball streaked across the horizon. His classmates watched in awe as the ball tore through the air while their teacher waited for the results. 770 meters, the Insomniac announced in a tired voice, doing his best to hide his excitement. Maybe this class would be worth something after all. Once again, a symphony of sound flew through the crowd, though this time it was one of admiration and praise, the impressive display lighting a fire in the young teen's hearts. The rest of the apprehension test went over without any trouble, most students gaining a score acceptable to Aizawa's standards, all except for one. Aizawa groaned as he looked down at his tablet. Mineta, it's clear you have some talent, but unfortunately, that won't be enough to get you through my class.
No, you can't do this! I've worked so hard to get here! You can't just send me home now!
The blabbering teen began to sob uncontrollably before he was cut off by his instructor. Which means you'll need to work harder than the rest of your peers in the future.
Wait, so you're not going to expel me?
Of course I'm not going to expel you. I just needed to make sure that everyone gave it your all, and you did. After all, we train heroes here, and UA takes all manners of students, and that includes you. With the apprehension test completed, the next day soon arrived, marking the next step in this little tale. Hero Basic Training, the first chance for our budding lab rats to show that they can do against the naturally gifted peers. Alright, gather around! It's time for your first real chance to act as heroes. For today's exercise, you'll be split into teams of 2. Villains who have taken civilian building hostage with a bomb inside, and heroes who have been sent to stop them. The conditions are simple. The first team to incapacitate their targets will claim victory, but keep in mind that this is only training, so try not to do anything that could seriously injure yourself or your classmates. If you do, I will be forced to stop the match. Now step up and take a number. Let's find out your matches will be. Most of the teams were quickly chosen by a simple lot throwing. First up, it's Team Bakugo and Ida versus Team Midoriya and Hagakure. As soon as the announcement was made, Izuku started babbling to himself, planning strategies in preparation for his fight. Bakugo, damn it, it's just had to be Bakugo. On one hand, it'll be good to figure someone I know, but on the other hand... The teen was cut off by his muttering as the air behind him shifted, and a familiar presence appeared behind him.
Hey, you got a plan cooking up in that head of yours, don't you?
Hagakure, would you kill you to try walking sometimes?
Probably. Besides, it's more fun this way. Also, before we go over our battle strategy...
The blonde looked Izuku up and down, causing him to turn slightly.
Where's your hero costume? Let me guess. You didn't want to burden your mom, so you brought that tracksuit instead.
That's not important. Izuku stammered, trying to hide the fact that he had forgotten his request form. Anyway, it's almost time to start, so we should go over the plan. Alright, Bakugo is sure to come after me since we still have a score to settle from our summer training, but that Ida guy seems more likely to play by the rules and defend the bomb. So while I focus on taking care of Bakugo, I want you to keep Ida distracted. He's fast, but with your ability, you should be able to perfect counter for him. He's fast, but with your ability, you should be a perfect counter for him.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get in there and show him what a couple of Espers can do.
With the planning phase out of the way, the Electromaster and Warper duo made their way inside the mock battleground, with Harakure heading for the top floor and Midoriya sending out constant high EMPs to draw Bakugo in, before stopping and waiting in an empty room for his opponent to sniff him out. Come on out, nerd! We got a score to settle from summer training, and you shocking the building is starting to get old! The blonde grumbled as he made his way through the empty office building hall by hall, growing more impatient by the minute before he finally found what he was looking for. Izuku Midoriya. So this is where you're hiding. Let me guess, you sent that girl to keep Spectacles busy while you fight me one-on-one? You may have leveled up that strange power of yours, but you're still one hell of a Deku. Do you think you could take me on alone when I don't have to hold back? Old habits die hard, I guess. Izuku shrugged, chuckling to himself a bit. Even if this was a ruse, that didn't stop him from having some fun with it. Yeah, just like one called me kicking your ass! The atomic blonde launched at Izuku in breakneck speeds, closing the space between them in mere seconds, shattering the doorway behind him. Taking advantage of the iron and steel beneath his feet, Midoriya glided across the floor, dodging Bakugo's attack with ease. Come on, we're not in your mom's backyard anymore, and you said you weren't gonna hold back, so come at me! The electric team taunted his opponent, as he launched a mass of electricity in the blonde's direction. Oh, trust me, I'm just getting started! The blonde jeered as he appeared behind the grenade, blasting him in the back. From behind? Even though he's worked up, he's still crafty. I'll have to track his movements more through his gear. Alright, Kachan, you wanna dance? Then let's dance. Meanwhile, on the top floor, another fight was raging on.
Come on, Tin Can. I thought your whole deal was speed, so why is it so hard for you to catch me?
The blonde teased her ironclad opponent as she vanished and reappeared around the room, throwing the speedster's sense of direction into chaos. I could ask you the same thing. With an ability like teleportation, you should have no problem claiming the bomb for yourself, hero. So what is it? Are you stalling, or are you perhaps equally matched instead?
Not even close. But it doesn't even matter if you catch me now. The match is already over.
What do you... Oh no. Bakugo! Bakugo, can you hear me? You need to retreat and regroup. Whatever you're doing now is a trap.
Aw, it's sweet that you're trying to look out for your teammate like that. But he's already decided that he's gonna see this fight out in the end, even if it means losing.
I'll admit, that was pretty smart. But you have one fatal flaw, villain. And that's me catching you first. The Silver Speedster proclaimed as he revved his engine to the fastest speed, determined to end this here and now. Returning to the lower floors, we find our rivals still locked in a game of cat and mouse, and the room having taken quite a hit because of it. You're light on your feet, I'll give you that! But you can't keep it up forever! The blonde Bombarda shouted as he continued his assault on the electric team. He's right. I need to make an opening. Preferably one that doesn't involve bringing part of the building down.
Hey, Izuku? No rush or anything. But I kinda need to wrap this up. Ida's starting to read my moves up here, and he's bringing out some crazy speed, too.
Harakure chimed in over the comlink, sounding worn out and on the edge of defeat. Right. Sorry about dragging this out for so long. What the hell are you going on about? Do you think some kind of strategy will save you from me? You've barely been able to touch me this whole fight. Makogo's hand started sparking with a destructive energy as he launched towards Midoriya.
I was just taking the chance to see how you really fight when you're not surrounded by limiters. But I think I've analyzed you enough, and it's time for me to show you what I'm really capable of.
With a simple motion, Izuku sidesteps Katsuki Blast, allowing the blonde's fist to swing past him.
Sorry, but this is going to hurt.
Lightning started coursing across the boy's body as he grabbed Katsuki by the wrist. Grinding his legs into the floor, Midoriya easily tossed his opponent across the room and towards one of the walls.
I'll hold back since we're friends,
the greenette muttered as the distinctive clink of metal resonated through the room. A small scrap of metal rebar quickly flung into the air, likely originating from one of Katsuki's destructive blasts. Lightning arched across the room, scorching the cement while simultaneously coating the room in a turquoise glow.
Time for an ace in the hole that I've been saving for a fight like this! Railgun!
He yelled out, flicking the metal shrapnel. A blinding flash followed almost instantly, along with a deafening boom. And that's where we're going to leave things for now. Thanks again to the Outcasts and Rejects watching to the end of the video. If this video gets 80 likes in the next 2 weeks, we'll continue this series. Other than that, if you have any questions about the series or channel, sound off in the comments or feel free to join our Discord. Thanks again.